to live life to the fullest. Have you ever felt like people are more of a drain on your energy than a source of joy? Did you know that social isolation in older adults is linked to higher risks of heart disease, depression, and even early death? If you're 70 or older, you might have experienced this shift yourself. It's a tough realization, but it's important to talk about why avoiding people might sometimes be the healthiest choice. For seniors, the idea of social interaction can bring mixed feelings. While having meaningful relationships is vital for mental health, the truth is that not all social interactions are beneficial. As we age, our physical and mental needs evolve, and sometimes, it's not about being alone, but about finding the right kind of company. In this video, I'll explain why I've chosen to avoid certain people at this stage of my life, and how it has improved my well-being. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to protect your emotional health, and why, in some cases, it's okay to put yourself first. Let's dive into the reasons behind this important decision and how it can benefit you as well. Make sure to watch the entire video. Don't skip any points. If you miss any part, you might miss out on valuable insights related to this topic. Trust me, it's worth it. Point 1. The importance of emotional energy. As we age, our emotional energy becomes one of our most valuable resources. It's no longer just about physical health. It's about managing and conserving the mental and emotional energy that allows us to feel balanced and at peace. For seniors, social interactions can be draining, especially when they involve people or situations that bring stress or discomfort. The need to protect emotional energy becomes more pronounced as we get older, as we are less likely to bounce back from emotional exhaustion the way we did when we were younger. This is why I've chosen to avoid certain people. It's a way of conserving the emotional energy that I need to stay healthy. Scientific research supports this idea. Studies have shown that emotional stress not only affects mental health, but can have tangible physical effects, particularly on the immune system. Chronic stress, which often results from difficult or toxic relationships, can increase the production of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. High levels of cortisol over extended periods can weaken the immune system, increase inflammation, and even raise the risk of cardiovascular disease. This means that, by choosing to avoid stressful social interactions, we are actively protecting our physical health. For example, I used to attend family gatherings that left me feeling emotionally drained and exhausted. I didn't realize at the time how these interactions were affecting me, until I noticed a pattern. After these events, I would feel physically unwell, more tired than usual, and sometimes even find it difficult to sleep. After reading about the impacts of stress on aging adults, I decided to start stepping back from situations that left me feeling overwhelmed. Instead, I began seeking out more peaceful, one-on-one interactions with people who uplifted me. Over time, this shift has had a profound effect on my energy levels, mood, and even my physical health. I find myself feeling more vibrant, with a stronger immune system and a much clearer mind. By recognizing the importance of emotional energy and making decisions to protect it, seniors can drastically improve their overall well-being. Avoiding people who drain us isn't about being antisocial. It's about self-care, knowing when to step back, and prioritizing peace for the sake of long-term health. Point 2. Social media and negative influence. Social media can be a double-edged sword, especially for older adults. While it offers a way to stay connected with friends and family, it also exposes us to constant streams of information, many of which can be negative or overwhelming. For seniors, the psychological impact of social media can be particularly pronounced. The constant barrage of images, opinions, and news often creates a sense of comparison, anxiety, and isolation. Studies have shown that excessive social media use can contribute to feelings of loneliness and depression, even when we are surrounded by people. This is something I realized personally after spending time on platforms that seem to bring more stress than joy. Research backs this up. A study conducted by the University of Pennsylvania found a direct link between increased social media use and feelings of depression and loneliness. The study highlighted that people who spent more time on social media were more likely to feel disconnected from others and have lower levels of life satisfaction. For seniors, social media can also create a sense of being left behind, as it often presents idealized versions of life that are unrealistic or unattainable. Seeing pictures of younger generations out with friends or traveling the world can inadvertently make us feel excluded, even though we are not intentionally isolated. I noticed this in my own life. Initially, I used social media to keep up with family members and see what was happening in the world. However, I began to feel overwhelmed by the constant flow of updates, and the negativity surrounding political news and the struggles of others often left me feeling mentally drained. It wasn't until I stepped back from social media that I realized how much better I felt. By reducing my exposure to online content, I found that I could focus on the things that truly mattered: personal connections and the present moment. This shift in perspective allowed me to protect my emotional health. Reducing time on social media has been linked to improved mood and better mental health, which I can personally attest to. I now spend more time enjoying face-to-face conversations or quiet activities that nourish my soul, rather than getting lost in the digital noise. In doing so, I found a sense of peace that social media never provided. Point 3. Quality over quantity in relationships. As we age, the relationships that matter most become those that are built on quality rather than quantity. In our younger years, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that having a large circle of friends or acquaintances is important for happiness and fulfillment. However, as time passes, we begin to realize that the number of people in our lives doesn't matter nearly as much as the depth and sincerity of those connections. For seniors, especially, cultivating meaningful relationships can be one of the most significant factors in maintaining both emotional and physical health. This is why I've focused on prioritizing quality over quantity in my relationships, choosing to spend time with those who uplift and support me, rather than with people who may drain my energy or add stress to my life. Scientific research underscores this idea. Studies have consistently shown that having a small group of close, supportive relationships is far more beneficial to mental health than maintaining a large social network. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, which has tracked the lives of individuals for over 80 years, found that the quality of relationships was the most important predictor of long-term happiness and health. Strong social ties have been linked to better immune function, lower levels of stress, and even a longer lifespan. On the flip side, toxic or superficial relationships can lead to higher levels of stress, depression, and anxiety, which negatively affect overall health. Personally, I've found that the older I get, the more selective I've become about the people I choose to engage with. In the past, I often felt obligated to attend social events or maintain relationships out of a sense of duty or fear of missing out. However, I've learned that those interactions often left me feeling drained or unfulfilled. Now, I focus on the people who bring joy, positivity, and kindness into my life. One example is a close friend I've had for many years. Our conversations are always uplifting, and we've supported each other through both good and bad times. Spending time with this friend leaves me feeling refreshed and connected, unlike interactions with others that may leave me feeling emotionally exhausted. By focusing on meaningful, supportive relationships and letting go of connections that no longer serve my well-being, I've experienced a profound improvement in my mental and emotional health. It's a powerful reminder that the quality of our relationships can be far more important than the number of them. Point 4. The impact of physical health on socializing. As we grow older, physical health often influences our social interactions in ways we may not have anticipated. Many seniors experience health challenges, such as reduced mobility, chronic pain, hearing loss, or other physical limitations that can make socializing more difficult. In these cases, large gatherings or busy social events can become more than just uncomfortable. They can become physically taxing. This has been a significant reason why I've chosen to limit certain social engagements. The discomfort or exhaustion that can come from navigating these environments is simply not worth the toll it takes on my body. Instead, I've found it more rewarding to seek out social interactions that align with my physical capabilities, such as smaller, more intimate gatherings or quiet one-on-one conversations. This decision has allowed me to stay connected with others without compromising my physical health. Scientific research supports the idea that physical health plays a major role in the types of social activities seniors can comfortably engage in. Studies have shown that physical limitations can lead to social withdrawal. And when left unaddressed, this withdrawal can increase feelings of loneliness and isolation, which in turn affects mental health. However, prioritizing comfort and well-being in social settings can improve overall quality of life and reduce the strain on one's health. For instance, seniors who engage in low-stress, low-impact social activities tend to experience less physical fatigue and greater satisfaction in their relationships. In my own life, I've had to adapt to the reality that attending large family parties or social gatherings that require a lot of movement or noise can leave me feeling exhausted for days afterward. A few years ago, I attended a wedding where I had to stand for long periods of time and navigate through a crowded venue. The next day, I was in so much pain from my knees that I could hardly walk. Since then, I've made it a point to be more mindful of how I spend my energy. I now choose to spend time with a smaller group of people in settings where I can sit comfortably and engage in calm, meaningful conversations. This shift has allowed me to remain socially active without pushing my body to its limits, ensuring that I can still enjoy the connections that matter most to me without feeling physically depleted. By paying attention to the signals my body sends and adapting my social activities accordingly, I've been able to maintain a sense of community while also honoring my physical health. This balance has made a significant difference in my overall well-being. Point 5. Protecting mental health from overstimulation. As we age, our brains, like our bodies, need more time to rest and recharge. This is especially true when it comes to socializing, as the constant stimulation of crowded places, loud conversations, or high-energy environments can overwhelm the mind. For many seniors, overstimulation can lead to increased stress and mental fatigue, which can affect memory, concentration, and emotional stability. I've learned that avoiding environments that are too chaotic or stressful allows me to protect my mental health and maintain clarity. It's not about avoiding social interaction entirely. It's about making sure that the interactions I do engage in are peaceful and restorative, not draining. Scientific research shows that overstimulation, particularly in older adults, can negatively impact cognitive function. Studies have demonstrated that seniors who experience chronic stress or who are frequently exposed to high-stress environments tend to have a faster decline in cognitive abilities, such as memory and problem-solving skills. The brain's ability to process and handle stress becomes less efficient with age, which is why it's crucial to reduce unnecessary stressors. For example, a study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that older adults with higher levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, performed worse on cognitive tests and experienced greater mental fatigue. The more we expose ourselves to mental and emotional overload, the more difficult it becomes to stay mentally sharp. Personally, I noticed a significant shift in how I felt after attending loud, crowded social gatherings or long events that involved too much talking or stimulation. I used to push through, thinking I should be social and participate fully, but I would always leave feeling mentally drained, unable to focus, and with a lingering sense of irritability. It wasn't until I began listening to my own needs that I realized how important it was to seek out calmer, more relaxing environments. Now I make it a point to avoid overbooked social schedules or noisy places, opting instead for one-on-one conversations or smaller gatherings with people who are easygoing and low pressure. This adjustment has made a remarkable difference in my mental clarity and emotional resilience. By avoiding overstimulation and choosing interactions that are meaningful and low stress, I've found that I can enjoy socializing without feeling mentally depleted. It's a reminder that, as we age, it's okay to protect our minds and prioritize activities that help us stay sharp and emotionally balanced. Point 6. Prioritizing peace and solitude. As we age, it becomes increasingly clear that solitude isn't the same as loneliness, and there's a significant difference between being alone and feeling isolated. In fact, embracing solitude can be one of the most powerful tools for maintaining mental and emotional health. At 70, I've learned that spending time alone has become an essential part of my well-being. Solitude provides an opportunity for reflection, creativity, and relaxation, things that often get lost in the busyness of life. Instead of seeing time alone as something to be feared or avoided, I've come to recognize it as a valuable time for self-care and inner peace. Scientific studies support the idea that solitude can have numerous benefits, especially for seniors. Research from the University of Chicago found that spending time alone can help older adults reduce stress and improve their mental health. This is because solitude allows for mental rest and the space to recharge. It also gives us the opportunity to process emotions and thoughts without external pressures or distractions. Moreover, solitude can foster a greater sense of self-awareness, which is vital for personal growth and understanding. It allows seniors to reconnect with their passions, hobbies, or goals without feeling the need to please others or conform to societal expectations. I've experienced these benefits firsthand. There was a time when I used to feel guilty about spending time by myself, thinking that I should always be socializing or engaging with others. However, I soon realized that when I allowed myself quiet moments to recharge, I felt more balanced, less anxious, and better able to cope with life's stresses. I began taking long walks alone, reading more, and exploring creative outlets like painting and journaling. These solitary activities not only calmed my mind, but also helped me rediscover parts of myself that had been overshadowed by the demands of daily life. For example, a few months ago, I decided to take a weekend away at a quiet cabin in the woods. I didn't have any plans to socialize or rush through activities. Instead, I spent the time in complete solitude, writing, reading, and enjoying nature. By the end of the weekend, I felt refreshed, reconnected to myself, and even more energized. This experience reinforced for me how valuable solitude can be for self-renewal. In embracing solitude, I found that it's not about avoiding others or shutting myself off from the world. Rather, it's about creating a space where I can focus on my own needs and well-being. Solitude, when practiced mindfully, can provide the peace and clarity needed to live a happier, more fulfilled life as we age. Point 7. Learning to say no. One of the most empowering lessons I've learned as I've gotten older is the importance of setting boundaries and learning to say no when necessary. As we age, we often find ourselves with a growing awareness of our limits, physically, emotionally, and mentally. While saying yes to every invitation or request may have been possible in our younger years, doing so in our senior years can lead to exhaustion, stress, and sometimes even resentment. The ability to set boundaries is crucial not just for maintaining personal well-being, but also for preserving the quality of our social interactions. Learning to say no is an act of self-respect and an essential practice for protecting our health and happiness. Scientific research shows that setting boundaries is linked to better mental health outcomes. A study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that individuals who are able to assertively set boundaries are less likely to experience anxiety and depression. When we say yes to everything, we often end up overextending ourselves, which can lead to burnout and chronic stress. On the other hand, setting healthy boundaries allows us to manage our energy and focus on the relationships and activities that truly matter to us. This becomes even more important as we age and our time, energy, and physical stamina become more limited. Personally, I can recall several instances in my life where I felt obligated to say yes to social engagements or family events, even when I wasn't up for them. One particular example stands out. I agreed to attend a large family reunion, even though I knew it would require a lot of energy, and I wasn't feeling particularly well. The event was loud, crowded, and mentally exhausting, and by the end of the day, I was physically drained. After that experience, I realized that saying yes out of obligation wasn't worth the toll it took on my body and mind. I started to become more mindful of my own needs and began saying no to situations that didn't align with my well-being. Since then, I've learned to honor my limits and set boundaries more effectively. Whether it's declining an invitation to an event that I know will leave me exhausted, or saying no to a request that I don't have the emotional bandwidth to handle, I've found that setting boundaries not only improves my health, but also strengthens my relationships. People respect my honesty, and I feel more in control of my time and energy. It's a powerful reminder that it's okay to put ourselves first, and doing so helps us be the best version of ourselves for those who matter most. Have you ever felt drained or overwhelmed by social interactions as you've gotten older? It's time to recognize that it's okay to prioritize your peace and well-being. Start by setting boundaries, choosing the company that truly uplifts you, and taking time for yourself when needed. If you found value in this video, share it with someone who might need to hear this reminder, because sometimes we all need permission to say no for the sake of our own. Let's create a community where we empower each other to age gracefully, without the burden of unnecessary stress. Take control of your life and remember, your well-being is worth protecting.